Welcome to the Learning Ideas Conference's February Winter Event interviews. I'm David Guralnick, and I'm here with Gila Kurtz, who is the Dean of the Faculty of Instructional Technologies at Holon Institute of Technology in Israel. And it's great to have you here with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here again. Really pleasure to meet you.
It's great to see you again, and really appreciate you spending the time with me. One of the things that I want to talk with you about is the work that you're doing related to artificial intelligence. AI is such a hot topic now, and there's a little bit of my own background as well. So I want to see if you could talk a little bit about your views on AI in education and training and lead into the work that you're doing in that area.
Wow, we are in the midst of a revolution that from an hour by hour, we learn something more that AI can either help us or maybe damage the learning and training, the academic especially, because DALL-E and ChatGPT and other applications really provide ways of learning that were not, even we couldn't dream about it before. And so it's exciting.
It really is. It's an interesting and exciting time. So can we talk a little bit about how you see those working as, in the context of learning? So, a couple of things you just described are generative AI, right? So they're creating themselves. So how does that tie into the learning processes in your view?
I want to be honest, first of all. I think that while saying that we have a revolution, I think that we have no choice. We have to jump in and see how we can adopt the revolution or the options of the AI. Otherwise, I'm afraid we will be not so much relevant as faculty, as teachers. So this is my honest statement. But from there, as much as it's kind of frightening that the generated text the students can hand a paper that was just made like in 2 seconds about the history of digital learning, which I got from one of my faculty, which is not so bad. Well, it's not so bad, and it will be much better for the next generation of ChatGPT. So right now we have really good options that are not so stable, like again, generating texts work, like shorten the way we learn, shorten the way we can reach to the knowledge. It can summarize articles for us. So it's kind of scary and exciting.
How do you see concerns about the factual errors that ChatGPT is certainly prone to make now? And that may change over time, but there are reasons, there are arguments, I think, on both sides about how quickly it can become reliable and how reliable it can be in the near future with such a large content body and the large language model approach. So how do you view that in terms of the way that people need to handle looking at something critically to understand and appreciate whether it is accurate? And does that change things from when you read maybe an article and you want to be critical, but you kind of know the source and assume that if I read an article by you, I'm not really doubting its accuracy. Maybe we'll have some disagreements over something, some particular positioning, but yeah. I don't think that you accidentally made it up or that you accidentally leaned on some irrelevant piece of information. So how does that play into what you see with students and faculty?
Wow, it's excellent questions. I'm not sure I have the answer, but I can think about the direction of kind of developing AI literacies for students and for us to be criticized, to look for the human point, the advantage of the human compared to the AI. And you are right. Right now, the GTP3 is not stable and it's not reliable. He has kind of mistakes, and which is good for us. It gives us time to take over to learn about it. But we, as hearing all the trends, it's going to be much more reliable and much more right now, ChatGPT is only until 2021. The content is until 2021. So the next one will be much reliable and much bigger. So we have, first of all, to learn the possibilities and to educate ourselves and the students how to use it wisely, how to use it so it will support our and our students' creativity.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on ways that people might use that? How do you see students using it in a wise fashion to help them learn rather than in a way that prevents them from having to do the work?
Well, first of all, we have to look at the technology. I look at the technology as extension of the mind. Okay, it's our extension. So using it in a bad manner, it's also human. So we have to educate the students to understand that they have to use it in the proper way and not to shorten or do something that might not be so ethical. But having said that, this is a call for us as educators to think about the ways we teach. Maybe the exams or summary of article is not the way to arrive to the knowledge. Maybe we should use other ways of learning, like project-based learning, where the student choose the topic and work on his or her topic, so he will be involved within the topic. And I'm sure that it will be much more interesting for them, for the student, and also for the faculty, and also the evaluation. Maybe we should change out the way we evaluate students' work.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And any new technology sort of throws people and changes the way that you think. I mean, I'm old enough to remember a time when maybe people thought the introduction of calculators was going to make math irrelevant and we weren't going to need to teach math anymore. And obviously that didn't really happen, and it wasn't accurate. I mean, ideally, machines are able to do things that make our lives easier and take away more rote tasks. I think what's probably particularly, making ChatGPT, especially such a topic of conversation, is that it seems to go beyond the way we've conceived rote tasks, right? Like, it's really doing things that are creative tasks, whether it's doing them well sometimes, not well sometimes, and that's, I think, where a lot of the change is. So
yeah, you're right. But here's the thing. Now we hear the word prompts. Prompts, it's the way how you get the information or ask the GPT to work. So here's the point. Maybe we should teach the student to ask the question. Maybe this is where one part of the solution, to teach them how to ask the right question. And by asking the right question, this is a process. It's not like, okay, like you will write in Google, okay, let me find New York City. No, you have to be much more precise. This is one thing. And within academic studies, and at least this is what we do in my faculty, they need to read. I cannot say if they read, but they need to show that they found papers, actual academic papers. And this is really funny. They might go to Wikipedia, look at the references in Wikipedia, have the list there, and go to GPT, which is fine with me. Doing a different way that I'm used. I'm not sure it's the best way. I'm learning every day, but I'm trying to understand how can I use the technology in favor of the teaching and the learning process.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing you just mentioned seems like a really good way to use it, right? Which is, as Google has certainly voiced some concern that the search may be replaced by something along the lines of ChatGPT. And if you look at ChatGPT's usage as a natural language search engine, and it can reach the point where people are able to do more and more things like that and find original sources, then that's certainly clearly of value and not particularly different, I think, from where we are now in terms of ethics, right? I mean, it's in terms of ethics and how people use it. When you get to the more generative parts, it's a little bit trickier issue.
Yeah, I have another idea. The teacher will give a prompt, ask a prompt to the GTP, and give the student. The student will evaluate if it's accurate and if it has things that need. For example, you can get references from GTP, so the student have to allocate the references. So you can use it as a platform for learning and use it and learn from this, and not like being there, and we can use it just to shorten the way we learn.
Do you have plans to incorporate it into your department, into the into classes that you teach, into what you're doing? Yeah.
We already did it. The students in a number of courses are writing a GTP diary. They have to provide us. It's for us to learn. I mean, we want to learn from them. So we ask them, okay, use it. Please let us know, how do you use it? So it's really interesting. I think that it's one of the best grammar checker and the best writing skills that it can provide. English is not our mother tongue, so they are asked to write in English. So like you use Grammarly, you use ChatGPT, fine with me, really great. And it can, you have to be knowledgeable when you read what you read in GTP. And this is our task, to educate them to be knowledgeable. And this is I think it's a challenge.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's a challenge, I think, especially as times are changing so quickly. So I guess one other question is, are there things you're doing in the classes to sort of help prepare people for what might lie ahead, what might come next?
Yeah, for sure. Because in my faculty, we prepare them for the workforce. We have bachelor degree and master, but it's very much located like very much with the industry. So we hear the industry. What are the needs? Like, for example, team-based working. So we are trying to do some kind of team-based working using AI, or have emotional intelligence, or be creative. And so we know what is lying ahead in their future, and we're trying to incorporate within our classes. I cannot say that we succeed, but we're succeeding every time, but we're trying to do our best.
Yeah, and it seems like something that almost has to be experimental in a certain sense, right? Like, it would be impossible to succeed every time, and you're going to learn from what you see and what evolves.
I want to share with you a research that we're doing now. We did a national survey for students and also a national survey for teachers in academia, asking them their opinions about the impact of the AI. So we have students saying, I think we should change the way we summarize articles, papers. It's not the way. Please look for something else. Please guide us. Be like guide on the side. Be with us, tell us if we're doing the right thing, and let's provide the knowledge, because the knowledge is over there, or the information is over there. Prepare us. On the other side, we find that the faculty, most of them are really afraid of their position, not in terms of occupation, like, what is my impact on the students? How can I be of help for them? And if I don't know their world, I'm going to be not needed anymore. So it's huge questions that we need to discuss, even nationally and internationally.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it changes so quickly, and I think you're absolutely right that there's, one of the dangers is that people feel that they're being made irrelevant, and it's difficult, especially for people who've had a long career, to start trying to reimagine what their role might be if it's been the same role for some time. I think we've seen that with online learning already to some degree with faculty in a lot of different learning situations, trying to get people to rethink the way that they run a course, or the way that a course is structured to take advantage of technology is always a challenge. There are a lot of people have been teaching the same course in person for a lot of years, and it's a major undertaking to start rethinking it after all that time.
I agree with you, but also this is right now, it's kind of a hype and it's a lot of noise. So we have to be quiet, but I'm very certain if a faculty member will tell me, I don't want to know, and I am opposed against the AI, I said, okay, I'm sorry, we cannot go on together working, because you have to know the environment where you are working. So it's exciting.
Yeah, no, it's definitely an exciting time. Before we wrap up, anything else that you'd like to cover? Anything that you'd like our audience to sort of hear about what you're doing, particularly related to AI and how you see the future?
Oh, I call for anyone that would like to collaborate, just give me a shout and we will work together. I think it's exciting times, and we can use it for better. So I call for every educator just to try it and not to be afraid.
Wonderful. That's a great note to end on. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me.
Thank you. Looking forward. Bye-bye.
Absolutely. Really enjoyed it. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.